This episode is sponsored by ShoutOUT, a two-way text messaging and campaign management platform that provides analytics and facilitates conversational messaging that delivers, engages, and converts more. Send personalized campaigns from unique phone numbers to the message content itself, letting you brand your campaign to promote yourself and create your messages in a way that users are made to think you sent it personally for them. You can then monitor and improve your campaigns over time with real-time analytics. Start reducing messaging and campaign costs with cost-effective bulk SMS. Scale efficiently without having to worry about high costs. If you'd like to start using mass texting services with simple packages to choose from, visit getshoutout.com today. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Akeel Jabbar, and welcome back to another episode of SaaS District. In today's episode, we'll be trying something completely different and is a special episode for you guys as we'll be doing a live SaaS website teardown. We'll actually be doing two websites for looking at optimizing their copy and their UX to help you guys see how we're going to improve their conversions. And for those of you who are listening in, we'll be trying to be as descriptive as possible. But if you'd like to follow along and see exactly what we're referring to, we recommend you check out this video episode uploaded on our SaaS District YouTube channel. So make sure you check it out. Just Google or search SaaS District and you'll be able to subscribe and see this video live. So today, joining us as our guest is Chris Silvestri from Conversion Alchemist. So welcome, Chris. Super excited to have you on the SaaS District show today. If you want to just let people know who are listening in, just a quick background of who you are and why you're an expert in this field.
Hey, Akeel, thanks for having me. So Conversion Alchemy is a small conversion copywriting agency. And what I do is basically I work with SaaS and e-commerce businesses, usually 6-7 figures, and I help them convert more prospects, visitors into customers. Mm-hmm. And I do it through a combination, I would say, of copywriting and UX design, as I actually been in both fields, and I'm trying to combine all especially in the research aspects of both fields, to get as many insights on users as possible. And I also think it's important to get a realistic perspective as much as possible on the user, on the prospects. And I think there's a lot of good UX insights that can be applied to writing copy, to understanding customers. So this is what I'm trying to accomplish with Conversion Alchemy.
Cool. So I think it's a combination of being an artist and a scientist at the same time, right?
Exactly.
Both mentalities in one. So it's a good skill to have. So generally when we do these episodes, we're asking kind of high level areas. How do we improve this? What do we do to improve conversions? And you just kind of name things. But today we're going to go live into real SaaS companies. So I actually sent Chris 2 SaaS companies before the show that he could check out. He'll be doing a full teardown, look at areas how we can improve. What are areas that we can optimize for? What are the goals? What's lacking? And then what are the kind of results we can expect going forward? So we'll start off with the first SaaS company. So if you can first, go ahead and share your screen. We're going to have 2 companies that we're going to go over for those of you listening in. So we'll start with one and then we'll go into the other so you guys can understand, how we look at it from 2 different companies. So if you want to go ahead, Chris, share your screen.
Yeah, sure. Okay, do you see my screen?
I can see your screen. So we have Postalytics.com. Let's start with that one.
Yeah. Okay. So usually, you mentioned the goal for these teardowns, especially for this website, was to improve signups, free accounts, but also paid accounts, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So direct mail automation. Yeah. So that's our goal, right? It's a freemium model, get people through the platform. Yeah.
So the thing that I always try to do when looking at a website is first, I always try to look at it with fresh eyes. And the one way to do it is actually looking at it from a, I would say, holistic point of view. So a point of view that takes into consideration the entire customer journey. So when from the moment the user lands on the website, what are the things that they usually think about? What do they consider? And so on. And all of this, you can do it with various methods, research, but for the sake of this teardown, since we kind of need to be brief. I usually use like a heuristic evaluation method. That's if people want to check it out, it's from one of the best conversion optimizers out there. In my opinion, it's called Andre Morris. Okay. So the heuristic evaluation method I use is called the 7 levels of conversion, and it's based on looking at a lot of the existing CRO models, but also on 10 years of user testing and best practices. So it gives you a really good idea on how users think when looking at the website without actually like doing the entire research, the months of the research that it takes you to figure that out. So the first thing that I usually look at is relevance, right? So which means is the website relevant to what a user would want to see on the page? And also, does that resonate with them? So does it hit their emotions, the emotional points that they are considering and have in mind? So the other one question that I want to ask you is, where do people come from when they get to this website?
So far, on the homepage, our 2 main channels are going to be SEO. They're more driven organically. And then we also have paid marketing as well. So we have PPC coming in, so Facebook and Google. Yeah. I think the paid ones, a lot of them are going to inner pages. Some go to homepage, but
okay. So, and do you have a blog for that resource somewhere?
Yeah.
Or
yes. So I think if you go to Learn, I believe it's there.
Learn.
Yeah.
Blog. Okay. So most of the traffic starts from here.
So we do have some of the traffic coming in organically, yes, through some of the blog as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, one thing that I would like, I always try to do is like figure out at the point where people land on the website, trying to figure out, like asking them questions. So one thing that you might do would be maybe using one of those Hotjar polls to ask questions here to figure out what they are looking for specifically. But let's say that these people check out a website and ideally they then look at the homepage because they're curious. The other thing that stands out here, which coincidentally stand out, it's the copy of the value proposition. I think it could definitely be more descriptive and specific as much as possible, especially about the target audience, right? Because I see these 2 lines are actually, I think they're not really useful. People know that they are on Postalytics. Like nowadays, they know, looking at the logo, what the website is called. Stand out, it's good, but it doesn't really tell me stand out where, how. And then I see direct mail automation. It's interesting. It makes me curious because we are used to hearing emails or direct mail automation. Oh, that's interesting. The smart way to do direct mail marketing. This is interesting, but at the same time, it's kind of vague. So I would definitely use the space, the real estate that you have here, to be more specific on the how you do it. Okay. And maybe for who. I see scrolling down that you have businesses and marketing agencies. So this is the first hint that I see that tells me who this is for. And then again, track and automate direct mail. See more reviews. Okay, so I would try to incorporate probably the terminology here, marketing agencies, maybe what types of businesses into the value proposition here to make it more specific and to like narrow down your positioning.
Okay.
So this is relevance, considering how relevant this is for me, right? The other thing that I always look for after is like, do I trust it? Because people, you might think that they take like a few minutes to look at the website and consider if they trust it or not, to see the social proof. But actually, looking at a lot of user tests, I probably looked, 500 user tests in the past years. I would say that people form like a super quick impression, probably in the first like a second or two. And some studies actually say like 50 milliseconds or something crazy like that. But the thing that stands out when I land here is the design could probably be a bit more professional. Like right now, the design, I can see that like the spacing here and in some other sections, like here, and also the fonts don't really look as professional as they could, I think. So it kind of looks like, if I could say, it kind of looks like a bit like a template theme, like one of those text template editors that you can drag and drop.
Mm-hmm.
So I would try maybe to have a professional designer take a look and make some adjustments.
Okay.
And the other thing, as far as trust, I see one review here, which is great, and also tells me more about what the product does. But also, like this level of detail on the review, I don't think it's really useful at this point. I will probably save some space, removing maybe these text link and replacing them, for example, with the Capterra logo that you can actually link to the Capterra page on the logo, and maybe having a photo of the customer if possible. But also adding more reviews so people can see at least 3 reviews here. Okay, it would be good instead of only one. I usually try to avoid carousels, so I probably display the 3 reviews right away. And usually with the reviews, and this is valid for the rest of the page, I always try to be as specific as possible and try to prove the point that I just mentioned. So if you say something here in the value proposition, make sure that these reviews relate to what you say here. In other areas, if you have a review that proves this point below this paragraph, that would be great. So they match and people understand, oh, this is real. They are not just telling me.
Right.
It's kind of
to kind of support each of these
exactly these points. So you're basically showing, not telling. Okay, so these are great. What do they link to? Okay, so it looks like links, but they scroll back to the top. Okay, so this works. Yeah, I was about to say, if you have logos of clients, it's great if you can link to the case studies, like in this case. Some of these don't work, so I would fix that. But yeah, it's great that you link to the case study. Other thing, for trust, this is not great. I would definitely try to replace the thumbnail. Okay. And also one thing that I noticed, it's the length of the video is 2 minutes. I would try to cut it to 30 seconds, 1 minute if possible, just to have a quick idea of how the product works. And you can use this longer video on a dedicated page. Okay. Okay, so trust. Next, I always look at orientation. So once I've evaluated if the website is for me, I can trust it. Where do I go from here? So the first thing that I notice here is that the navigation menu is quite overwhelming. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I usually try to keep the navigation to 6 links at maximum. And also one thing that people do, especially in SaaS, they are used to seeing a lot of websites that have the same structure. And in UX, that's called the it's basically it's a rule to try and be as consistent as possible with what people are used to seeing on other websites, because it makes the decision-making process faster for them. So most websites, they have a feature page, they have how it works, they have a solution page, a pricing, and an about page. So everything that is kind of different from that usual structure, like here you have a demo after features, then you have learn, support, agencies. It's a bit confusing and like distracting from the main goal, which is getting to learn about the product and then to try the product. So I will probably move demo, support, probably in the footer. Also tools. I will probably change the name for like learn, might be guides or guides. Support, I would probably call it About Us, because if you can see, it contains FAQ, help docs, contact. It might also benefit the website to have an About page and like an actual About page. They can learn more about the company. I always like when the company talks about like the team, who's involved, instead of being kind of like a faceless organization. That's always nice.
Right, to build more trust, right, at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The other thing, speaking about orienting the user, I see the calls to action here. Try free. Then you have here's how it works, and another sign up free. So the thing that's probably super low hanging fruit that you could do is differentiating from primary and secondary calls to action. So the primary is what's your main goal from here? If it's to send them to the try free, okay, this could be the primary, so it can be red. And this one, for example, here's how it works, could be secondary call to action. So you can maybe design it with just the outline so that it's deprioritized compared to this one. Also, the other thing that's a bit confusing is this sticky bar at the bottom. Because one thing the site does is you have this header which stays sticky for a while and then disappears and then disappears. So I will probably just use this main header and make it sticky.
So we actually ran some conversion rate optimization tests, and adding this footer actually did increase conversion. So that's the reason why we actually kept it.
Okay. Did you also try leaving this one as well, or?
You mean keeping both? What you're saying? No, I don't think we did. I don't know if we could. Yeah. So you're saying keep both. Okay.
I was actually saying just use one at the top. But I don't know if you ran test just keeping this as well or not. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I was about to ask if you ran any tests or not. Those are all things that it's always best to test.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, differentiating primary, secondary calls to action. That's probably good. Let me see. So then after orienting myself, I'll probably start wondering, okay, so what moves me to go through the pricing page to learn more about the product? And the thing is that I looked before this call, I looked at the video as well. And I saw a lot of information that I actually don't see on the page. So let me see if I can get to the point here, just to see where it's basically talking about how, like, what you can actually do, the various phases. And it talks about, for example, create, prints, mails, all the various stages that the product works in. And I don't see that on the page because the other thing that's always important, other than the features, it's always important, I think, to give the user an idea of how it works right away. So like a quick step-by-step illustration of what they can do and how it works from start to their end goal. And usually I would always try to have like a quick representation on the homepage, but also going deeper into that with the navigation menu, how it works page.
Right.
You have this feature page, which I think it's kind of a mix because it's drag and drop, not weeks, integrate. Yeah, there are some of these are steps of what you do. So maybe it's worth changing this to how it works. But I would always try to, having either an expanded features page or a how it works page that goes into the steps or both, if possible.
And what do you think of the homepage design here? Is there anything you would change on the header? So that the first image that pops up here?
This illustration, I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I actually like that these mails had, like, they link the image to the call to action. Nice. So the eye moves from one to the other, which is good. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's worth reversing them. So you have the image and then the mails push you to the call to action. I don't know. but that could be something to be tested.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, the style as well of the illustration is nice. So if you could keep it more consistent throughout. Yeah, also these are nice. They are on brand, I think, but also having some other illustration that kind of matches this style throughout the page would be nice. These are good, but are a bit more simplified versus this one, the top. The other thing that I noticed was good. Okay, so these are good. It's a bit hard to move through them because you have to click on these tiny dots. And also, I don't get what this magnifying lens means. Is it like maybe it's trying to telling me this is a detail of looking at all the reviews? I don't know.
Yeah, probably looks like it's a kept your review here.
Yeah. But, and also the other thing that I try to do is highlighting specific parts of reviews, maybe using bold text or like kind of like a highlighter color.
Makes sense.
For example, here you say it's very practical, is to navigate throughout each step along the process, and overall it opens unique multi-channel marketing initiatives. We needed a way to update postcards quickly and easily in Postalytics. In this case, overall, it opens unique multi-channel marketing initiatives. This would be like an example of what I would highlight because it's very specific and it tells you an important use case. So this would be an example of what it do.
Makes sense.
Okay, so the other thing that I was looking at, I don't know if you tested this, but did you try removing this dropdown from the pricing and having a switch on the pricing page here?
We didn't. Okay, so you're saying have one here, and then once you go here, then you can pick.
Yeah, because it's kind of I don't know. I suspect that having the drop down here might be a slightly confuser, just because people are not used to seeing it. I know that it makes sense here because it's about mail, so you have to consider the different locations.
Yeah.
But probably having them like just seeing, okay, I want to go to pricing. I'm clicking this and having a switch here that tells you, okay, you can actually view the pricing for the two locations. I think.
We just recently launched into Canada. I think just like less than 2 months ago. So this is a new page that we just put up there. So I'm sure there's a lot of areas we can improve for sure.
Yeah, actually, the other thing that I noticed is that pricing US, I see $39 a month, and if I click on Canada, it still tells me USD. Is this?
So the subscription is the same. What changes is if you scroll down, that the pieces that you send, that's where the difference is. So you can see here, that's in Canada. You can see that's in Canadian dollars and what it costs per piece, and that's where the difference would be. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it would make sense to have this price in Canadian dollars as well. I don't know. If your customers, I don't know, buy from the US for Canada, but just an idea.
Makes sense.
Then coming to the pricing page, from a visual hierarchy point of view, like how clear and how prioritized these are for the reader, it's a bit overwhelming, especially seeing all these long tables. Let's use this one. It's a bit overwhelming for the user, I think, having to scroll through all this. So what I would do would be first, actually, to make the comparison easier between these tables, would be to have kind of what are the features that are in common between all the plans, having them at the top, and then at the bottom having some like grayed out features that you don't have here, but that you have, but like having them normal here, and kind of the same, and which I actually noticed that you do in the video. You have a video here. And in the video, you show, I think, a pricing table inside the account, looks like, or maybe during the sign-up process. Let me show you. I think these tables look like this table here, tables.
Right.
You see, these look much better from a visual hierarchy point of view. It's much easier to understand what's included here, here and here, and what are the things that are not included
Makes
in
sense.
the other two plans.
Yeah.
So I probably try to do the same. And also when it comes to these prices, I will probably place these buttons, the calls to action, right below the features, because at the end, these are the main things the users need to understand when they are comparing the pricing, the plans, and then having maybe a separate section here that they can click on, and it would expand all these prices. So if you don't click on that, the page is much shorter, you can scroll it easier, but if you can still dig deeper into looking at the different
Makes
prices.
sense. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned about the button. So if you go to the top, you see how we have the get started right below the pricing.
You have it here.
Yeah, it wasn't there before. And when we ran the experiment, a little bit of a CRO test, we noticed just by putting that, people not having to have to scroll down, definitely improved conversions quite a bit. So I can see maybe in the middle.
Yeah, so the next test I will probably do would be to move these here. Because I think when you're if you think about it, you see the price and then you want to actually understand what's included before actually clicking the button. It's not that you see the price and then click the button. Yeah. So from a linear flow perspective, I think it makes a bit more sense to have the buttons after the features.
So one thing we're struggling with, and maybe we can chat about, is that the biggest difference and reason why people will switch from the free plan to, say, the pro or agency plan. One is going to be if they want the agency, sort of like white label. Second is going to be if they want Salesforce integration. But the third, and probably 90% of the users, why they upgrade is so that they can get the discounts on the per mail piece. So as you hit a certain volume, I think it's, if you're going to be sending, more than 1,000, I think, or 1,500 in a month, then it just makes sense to upgrade and pay for the subscription because you're getting the discounts on the volume side. So, what's the thinking? Do you go something like a kind of a MailChimp where they have that calculator type model, or how would you kind of show this to make it as simple as possible? People see, okay, if you want to upgrade, if you're going to be sending X amount, you should be upgrading.
Yeah. You mean to make it clear before they even sign up?
Exactly. Right. Yeah, because I think people get confused on this pricing, and we try sharing it in some emails and other messages and on calls. But if we can share it on this page, it becomes more clear, right?
Yeah, I definitely think having kind of like a slider that you can move and it shows you in real time the discounts, that would be good. Yeah, because that was actually a thing that I didn't get from looking at this page.
Yeah, if you didn't get it, so imagine how many people else are not getting it.
Exactly, and I'm not the target audience.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also you could actually have some like a piece of copy here saying save X or percentage off if you get this, or for this number of mails.
Right. Or would you put it here? Where would you put it? On the top there? Or put a line underneath just saying, save up to 40%.
What is this discount related to?
So the pieces of mail. So every direct mail piece they sent, if they, if you go down. So for example, if you scroll down, if you look at the exact same, right? 4x6 first class. If you're on this plan, you're paying 62 cents per piece. If you're on the free plan, you're paying 85 cents, right? So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't have, do you have anything specific to a mail here? Quantity? If you don't have any, like a feature that's related to that, I would just put it at the top.
So I think just that piece, it says best features, best per piece prices, but maybe it's not as clear, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would actually replace this with the actual specific discount, if you can, like the first discount.
Right.
Yeah, different color, maybe like a green that stands out.
Okay. Yeah, it's not that clear.
Yeah. And also the other thing, I don't know like how clear these features are for your audience, but a good thing to always try and do is having icons, like question mark icons or info icons that you can hover on, and it gives you a brief explanation of the features.
Makes sense.
That usually helps remove some friction, and you don't also have to explain everything in the FAQ at the bottom.
Right, makes sense.
The other thing here was, this is good. I would probably try to make it a bit more visual, using some icons maybe to show super fast that all these are included. So usually you have check marks, green check marks to show that these are included. For the video, I don't know how necessary the video is to explain the pricing. I think that if you clarify and improve this pricing section here, the tables, maybe the video wouldn't be needed. You can maybe deprioritize this call to action, or just have a text link to focus the users more on the actual calls to action to sign up. That's just a guess that I'm making, because usually if the pricing is clear, you don't really have to watch like a video explaining the pricing. It's
That's
kind
right.
of feels like
Redundant, yeah.
Last thing I would say for this FAQs, I would probably use like an accordion design, where you click on the question and it expands the answer. Because just because these paragraphs are a bit overwhelming to look at, especially, I would say probably if I look at it on mobile, they're quite long.
There's a lot of text, yeah.
Yeah. So I would probably use like accordions, and people are used to seeing FAQs with accordions on other websites. Yeah,
and actually seeing it now, I guess even the color, right? They're almost the same color. It's hard to differentiate, right? And
exactly. Yeah, that's why I was saying to make this section a bit more visual to separate them.
Makes sense.
And I like you have the link to the full FAQ. That's great. Check complete guide to direct mail cost calculation. This is what does this link to? This is a blog article. I don't know if I would have this just because I would like to keep them as focused as possible on the pricing.
Okay.
Or it could be, if you have, for example, just to have it a bit more clear, 2 buttons. So the buttons to full FAQ and buttons to learn more about pricing. Just because these 2 text links are quite long.
Would you put another call to action here? Would you see there's any value of adding it there? Or do you think having that scrolling...
this one?
Yeah, is that enough?
I would always try to see if the header works better, because I think having just the header, because with the header you get both the call to action and the navigation, so you allow them to do everything. In this case, you are siloing them into clicking, but at the same time, it's always good to give them options, right?
Right.
So I would try to use the header, but you can test it and see which one works best.
Okay.
The other thing that I don't get here that I might be good to add would be speaking about the payment methods. I don't see, for example, pay with card or pay with other method. Does it work with the credit card? How do I pay?
Yeah, either way, you'll sign up for the free account and then you would pay once you're inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it might actually be good to have like a super quick 3 steps process for the payment. So sign up for a free account, and then upgrade, and then use your plan. Might be good to give users an idea of what happens. It's always best to set the expectations for what happens next, because you can have them click, but sometimes if you sell them to a click that's not what they wanted to do, they might get frustrated and go back and leave the website. So it's always best to set the right expectations before they click, so that they know exactly what happens after. I was mentioning about the navigation menu. I would probably try to distribute some of those links here, because I see here there's a lot of for product. Always maybe try to separate this. So you have product. You could have a support section where you have support, direct mail, API docs. maybe a solutions section. I see the agencies. Yeah, try to make these as contextual as possible. And company is good. Okay, you have an about page here in the footer. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I will probably include this about page under this section. I would, about us. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's better to put it at the top.
Okay.
Usually, the about page for people who actually look for it, it's the second most visited page after the home page.
Really?
For people who are kind of skeptical, so I probably increase the priority here.
Okay, good to know.
Anything else you want to look at here or questions?
No, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, I guess one question is maybe last one is around the call to action buttons. Have you seen any, differentiation on how you should, is it get free account the better one? Try it for free, start free. Have you seen anything there that, works better?
Yeah, I think that depends usually on like two things, which is how much do people know about a solution like this? Are they familiar? So would they be ready to get started right away here, or do they need to see something else first?
Right.
As far as the actual copy, try for free. It's good. The only things that I would advise against are things like learn, read, anything that makes the user think that they have to do some work. It's usually like a big no. Okay. So in that case, you could actually, especially on the homepage where you don't need to, it's more like a navigational page. You don't need to convert them right away here. On the homepage, you could actually have more value-oriented calls to action. Like here, it could be send out your first direct mail campaign, something like that. That doesn't speak to actually buying or signing up.
Right. Set up your first account. Yeah, makes sense. Or set up your first campaign. Makes sense.
Yeah. And then once you go, obviously, on pages like the pricing page or on the features page, once they already consume the content that they are more familiar with the product, you can actually use more direct calls to action, like get started or sign up today.
Got it.
Yeah.
I guess my question kind of, if you were to make some of these changes, you suggested quite a few here. What have you seen typically, in terms of, lift in terms of conversions? What can we, high level expect to see? And second, how long do you typically like to run these experiments for?
Okay, so if you ran A/B test, I would definitely try and test as few of these changes as possible at the same time. Obviously, you don't want to test everything under the sun, and because there's a lot of variables to take into account. And as far as the timing, I would definitely test at least 2 weeks, ideally 3 to a month, and depending obviously on how many variables and the sample that you have to test with.
Okay.
And and as far as like lifts, actually depend a lot on the audience. But yeah, I've seen it might be 5 to 10%, depending on the change that you're making. Obviously, the closest the change is to the bottom of the funnel, so the pricing especially, that's going to impact the business more.
Got it. So I see you're using Balsamiq as use it for UX.
Yeah.
So you actually came through. I think that's how you reached out to us and found us through Peldi. So thank you, team at Balsamiq, for as usual for sharing that. What do you typically use for a CRO tool measurement? Are you using something like a VWO, Lucky Orange? What's your go-to tool?
I usually use Hotjar because it integrates a lot of elements like surveys. You can have heat maps, user recordings, so that's usually easy. I also really like a Smart Look, which is pretty similar to Hotjar, and it tracks things very well. I also like Hotjar because recently they introduced the continuous, I think it's called continuous tracking, and you basically don't have to set any heat map up. It's basically they start tracking right away once you add the code to the website. They track everything. and it even tells you which are the pages that are most visited, so you can actually focus on the heat maps that get more traffic.
Smart, yeah. As I think there's also one Microsoft also has I think it's called Clarity. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
Yeah, I think that was a free one, so if people need a free solution. Yeah.
The other thing they do with Hotjar is the website polls. You know, the kind of the widgets where you ask a question.
Yeah.
And it's incredible how many responses those get you. People like my clients usually think, oh, I'm never going to get any answers from this. But actually, if you can write questions that are to the point and using multiple choice questions, it's surprising how many of those you get without even offering an incentive or anything.
Right.
And they can tell you a lot about like what kind of persona is visiting the website, what are the main use cases, if they can't find a piece of information. So there's a lot of good stuff.
Nice. Yeah, Hotjar is great. Yeah, highly recommend it as well. Okay, this has been great, Chris. I think this is super helpful. People listening in. Obviously, if you guys want to check this out once again, look on our YouTube channel. You can see what we're talking about as we navigated through the pages. So that was the first website. If you guys want to check that out, postalytics.com. The next one. So we'll move on to the second one. Are you ready to go to the second one, Chris? Yeah. So the second one we have is getshoutout.com. So getshoutout.com is the SMS messaging platform. So people want to do SMS messaging, get their own unique number, sender ID, and send short links, promotions, reminders, alerts through their lists or contacts. So let's start with this. So I know they just refreshed their page. So this is a new page compared to what they had a couple months ago. So I think there's, but I still think there's always more room to improve. Obviously, a little different. So we're on the home page. Let's walk through it. What do you think?
Yeah. Okay. So compared to the other one, I think this value proposition is a bit more specific. Even just saying SMS messaging that converts kind of gives me the idea that this is for marketing people. So this is good. Increase customer conversions with our user-friendly text messaging platform, send alerts, promotion reminders, or links, and marketing campaigns. Yes, this is great. I think the only piece that will probably improve is this piece here. It says increase customer conversion with our user-friendly text messaging platform. I would ask, is user-friendly the most unique and powerful benefit that you have to use here, or
probably
is there much? Because it just sounds a bit overused and not really powerful. I'll probably try to be as specific as possible with what makes this product unique.
Okay.
The other thing, as I scroll down, I see this GIF. It's good that it shows the product, but it's at the same time showing the product right away at the top of the page might not be as effective as possible, because I don't yet know what actually the product does. So I see the dashboard, I see the GIF doing a lot of things, I see a phone. I would probably focus more on the customer / messaging phone aspect rather than showing the dashboard here, because it's a bit too soon, I think.
Makes sense.
And it's also quite a lot of steps, so I don't really understand what's going on. Okay, scrolling down, thinking about trust. I see a lot of logos, popular businesses, which is great. I'll probably be a bit more specific here. I joined thousands of small to large scale businesses using, again, user-friendly, probably try to improve this, but also if you have thousands, I would probably try to use the exact number. So be as specific as possible. So join, 1,456 customers. And also I see a lot of banks, like big organizations. Is there a way to group them into a type of business? Maybe I actually seen something that was speaking to the types of customers somewhere. Maybe it was somewhere on the page, but yeah, I would try to, if possible, to group the customers into on something that people can identify themselves with. And then I see here that you have the case studies page with some of these. So I would definitely link to those case studies from these logos. Also because when you hover on them, they highlight, but also it makes it look clickable, but it's not clickable. So it might be frustrating for some users.
Makes sense.
Messaging platform and campaign management for SMS. Reinvent your conversations with our all-in-one messaging platform. Easily manage campaigns for SMS in one dashboard. Yeah, so this is a good value proposition. I would probably, maybe it's more powerful than this one, I'm wondering. But all of this depends obviously on what message users value the most. So I would definitely do some research on this, but this sounds more specific. With all-in-one messaging platform. Yeah, in one dashboard. I like these. I like that you have illustration and that these don't take too much room, but still accessible. Segmentation, and it tells me a bit more about the product does in not so much space. Here's what some of our clients have to say. Okay, here, if you have more, I would again add more testimonials. Okay. Just to have a bit more social proof. But you could also, if possible, if you have testimonials for each of these, you should actually show a testimonial under this image that relates to this specific feature if you have it. The other thing also, testimonials are great for people to identify themselves and actually understand if this is for them. So you have CEO, founder, and CEO, but of what business? Right. You could actually maybe specify the name of the business or what type of business this is, just to give a hint to some visitors. Okay. How your business can use SMS messaging. 3-tier loyal customers the right way. I like these illustrations where you see the actual message. Offers and promotions, customer reviews. These are basically all the features, everything that you can do with the platform. Yeah, this is good. Okay. I would definitely try. One thing that I would try to do, for example, with Hotjar here would be to look at attention maps. So where you actually see where the mouse moved to understand which of these users are focusing the most and if you should prioritize, move up some of these or change the order in which they're represented. Got it, yeah. And also if people try to click somewhere here, that usually happens, it might give you an idea to create a features page that you don't have right now and have secondary calls to action on each of these that link directly to that specific feature. Maybe the features page can be one page with a parallax, and clicking on the button could actually automatically scroll to that section on the features page. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. One thing that I noticed when I looked at this was that you have other products, basically. So you have this ShoutOUT Lite. Yeah, for APIs. Yes, which is at the top here. And this ShoutOUT Inbox, which is omnichannel messaging platform. So the thing that I would do would probably have in the navigation menu, just for the orientation aspect that I was mentioning before. Yeah. In the navigation menu, I would probably try to have a products link where you have both. I don't know if you can consider this like a normal version and then these other two. So you have 3 elements under the drop down of products. Right. Just to immediately give users the idea that you actually have separate standalone products that do different things.
Makes sense.
Case studies, solutions. Yeah, also the thing that I was looking at, I'm not sure if you only have these 3 types of solutions because these are the main clients, or because you're still working on these pages.
We're still working on those. So yeah, we have, I think, over 10 different industries, and we're still building those out. But yeah, those are the 3 that we have.
I was thinking, because if these were your only solutions type, I would definitely try to include these in somewhere in the copy. But if you have obviously 10, that's not practical. But you could actually, it's great when you will have all these to look at. I like this section here. For example, this is a good example of what I would do also in the other website. Instead of having, where was it? Instead of this and just writing Capterra and so on, having the logos here, they can actually click on is great. And again, here, same concept. Probably try to be as specific as possible with the number of customers.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, the other thing that I was thinking, you say review us here, but at the same time, a visitor is probably not going to be interested in reviewing the product right now.
Right.
So rather than review us, I'll probably say read more reviews or check out more reviews on Capterra, Software Agility Crowd.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so as far as calls to action, I see the try free, book a demo, try free. Let me see. And then, okay, so in this case, we have both the sticky header at the top and this one. Did you test this as well?
We did not. No, we just decided to add the sticky as well since we knew it worked in the past. So,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I would test first with one and then only with the other one to see which one is best. See how text campaigns can increase your conversion rate. Yeah, I like this. This is a good example of like a more value-focused call to action. Book a demo. Actually, you could tell them depending on how long the demo is. You could actually tell them, see how text campaigns can increase your conversion rate in 5 minutes, something like that, just to tell them that demo is not going to take them forever to go through. Yeah, we talked about the navigation, case study, solution. What happens if I click on okay, it makes me sign up. The thing that I might want to do is maybe have a secondary call to action throughout the page that links to the pricing page.
Okay.
Something like see pricing. Just because some people maybe might overlook this or might click directly here, but they don't know about the pricing. So giving them away while they're scrolling here. It can be, for example, you're talking about features here, testimonials. Yeah, it might be, for example, after this section here, in between these two.
Yeah.
You could have they are like by this point, they know enough about the product, I think, to be interested in checking out the price. So you could have a secondary call to action, like view pricing or see pricing. Do you have any questions so far on this?
No, I think everything makes sense. I think, I think that it makes sense. I just realized we only have, the 1 or 2 call to actions, but there's missing in between, right? To try to get them while they're scrolling. Yeah. So, and what's your thinking about having the 2 call to actions? I know some people are against having the 2, like try for free and book a demo. Would you suggest just running 1, or do you think it's good having 2?
No, I definitely think it's useful, but also I think it's important to like understand what customers want when they get here. So if you know by experience and by speaking to customers and asking questions that they might really be interested in booking a demo, I would definitely add the call to action. Maybe not at the top. Maybe at the top it's good to focus on 1 only for the people who actually make decision fast and might just want to check out.
Right.
but yeah, I think it makes sense to have two calls to action.
Mm-hmm.
If your goal, if it matches the goal and what the audience wants.
Yeah, makes sense. So maybe just the last thing we can do is, if you hit try for free, and what's your thinking of the user flow here? Is it pretty straightforward? It's simple, name, email, password, and then sign up with email? Or would you?
Yeah, this is good. Probably as far as like a purely aesthetic point of view, I would try to have the same width of the button and of these fields.
Okay, makes sense.
How does it look like on mobile? Yeah, kind of the same on mobile. You could do the same, just to be more aligned. Email, password. Yeah, looks good. The other thing also that I didn't get on this page was that I could basically create an account right away, like adding the password right here. So yeah, if I sign up with my Google account, I get an email. No, okay, it's loading. Okay, let's complete your profile. Okay, so these this was a bit unexpected. So the thing that I would do would probably have somewhere on the website, maybe it could be on the pricing page or a quick section on the homepage where you actually tell them how it works. So sign up, create your account, or complete your profile, so they know what they're going to go through.
Okay.
Organization, phone number. Do you require the phone number so that you can send messages using this phone number, or is this for just CRM purposes?
I think CRM, but I think sometimes we also do. We're adding on the onboarding to text people as well, so they see what it's like, right?
Okay, so in that case, I will probably add like one of those icons, a question mark or info icons, when they can hover on and tells you we require or we're only going to use your phone number for XYZ purposes, just to decrease the friction in inputting the phone number.
Makes sense, yeah.
Company. Let's try my phone number. Everybody's gonna see my phone number. Don't call me.
You're gonna get some spam messages today.
Channels, promotional campaigns. How do you plan to use the platform? Ask Google. Okay, so I'm logged in. So the sign up was pretty easy. So it's just a matter of, as I mentioned, setting the right expectations for what happens. And also, it's a good way if you have one of those how it works section. You can actually tell them like how long did it take me? 1 minute, 2 minutes. So you could actually tell them sign up, create a profile, and get started in 2 minutes.
2 minutes makes sense.
You don't have like an in-app messaging, like a tutorial.
No, just the intercom kind of pop up there.
Okay.
And then we have this section.
Step 1. Okay. Verify. So this looks pretty good. The interface is clear, nice. I like the colors here. Focuses the attention of the kind of like the scarcity of the credits.
Nice.
Buy credits. So the main action here is basically buy credits, right? Which allows you to send 1 credit is for sending 1 message.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of the tutorial thing, which is nice. Maybe this tutorial could have a different background from the other boxes just to differentiate it.
Yeah.
Especially because I guess this is going to disappear once I've done everything, or no?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you might have
similar to that yellow. Yeah, like that yellow side, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So this kind of tells me this is temporary. And it's actually something that you have to pay attention to in the first use.
Mm-hmm.
Contacts. Campaigns. Yeah, everything looks good. The other thing that depends probably just on the emails that you send out. Which emails do you use in this case? Do you know?
Which what, sorry?
Which emails do you use when people sign up? Do you have a welcome email?
Yes. So we have Intercom that we work with. They get a onboarding email sequence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Credits. SMS credits. Okay. Do you have knowledge base? Okay, user guides. This is good. Okay, yeah. Yeah, everything looks pretty good here. The main recommendation is always to try and match user actions with the emails that they get. So I like behavior triggered emails rather than time-based emails.
Right.
If you can and if you have the tools.
Right.
But yeah, that's a recommendation.
This is good.
Yeah, this is really looks really nice.
Okay.
Also, one thing probably that I would try. Yeah, you have the GIF on the website, which shows you. Shows you the dashboard. I would probably try to include if you add a how it works page, to have either simplified illustrations of what the dashboard looks like, or actually screenshots of the dashboard, so that people get a super clear idea of what they can do inside. And you can expand obviously on each section. Yeah.
This section.
Yeah, you have this one. Yeah. Yeah, as I mentioned at this point, it doesn't really make sense because before I've never seen this. I wasn't really sure how the platform worked. So probably makes more sense further down the page.
Okay. And then here you would just have the mobile, like just a section of the mobile, like seeing like this on the right here. Text messages are coming through, being sent and received. Yeah,
and maybe an illustration showing like a happy customer or someone receiving these messages.
More personalized.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. This has been super helpful, Chris. I think we
Awesome.
did a very thorough job, and I think the users people listening in are going to get a lot of value out of this. So I really appreciate it, you doing this. I mean, anything you want to add or anything, I guess you want to share with our users, people listening, how can they get in touch with you if they have a SaaS company, they want to get some help in improving their conversions? What's the best place to get in touch with you?
My website is conversionalchemy.net. I have a newsletter, so conversionalchemy.net/newsletter is the best place to keep in touch with some updates.
Okay.
Or on Twitter. Usually I'm pretty active on Twitter as Silvestri Chris.
Awesome. Okay, we'll add those links to our show notes if you guys want to check out Chris and get set up with improving your conversions as well. Highly recommend him. Obviously, he knows what he's talking about, and we're going to hopefully see some changes here with our websites, and hope we can report back on the results that we get as well. So thank you so much again, Chris. And
that will be great.
Yeah.
Let me know. Thank you very much again.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you all for watching this episode and joining SaaS District today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future episodes where we interview top leaders in the SaaS industry. If you're a SaaS company looking to grow and unlock the true value of your business, get in touch with us at Horizon Capital, and myself or one of our consultants will provide a free assessment to help you get there and hit your goals. If you have any feedback or suggestions for this podcast, please comment down below and help us improve our content for you all. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.